Welcome back to Battleship Systems. If you've ever been inside a battleship, you'll notice a profusion of wires all around you. What are those wires for? Where do they come from? And where do they go? In this episode, we'll look at the wiring system of the largest battleships ever built by the Navy, the Iowas. Then we'll look at a section of the ship and see how they were designed to survive cataclysmic battle damage. Battleship wires are generally more insulated than the ones in our home because they have to survive the heat of the boilers, the oil from the machinery, the burning of overtaxed wires, and water and damage from battle. There are different types of cables to choose from depending on the inspected environmental conditions and the amount of current being called for. For example, a very popular cable used in the Iowas is THFA-3. This stands for Triplex Heat Flame Resistant Armored. The 3 is the size of the conductor in thousandths of circular mils. It most closely resembles 15-gauge wire. The insulation consists mainly of felted asbestos to prevent fires, varnished cambric insulator surrounded by abraded armor. There are 10 different classifications for these cables. One is obviously for power. Things like turrets, motors, machinery, and large cooking appliances. This is the power system for the aft section of second deck as of 1944. It includes the galley, the huge cruise mess, sculleries, chief's mess, and the airplane crane equipment. The solid lines represent battle circuits, and the dashed lines are wires for general power. Some electricity for the ship's service system comes from areas forward of these compartments, but most of the power in this blueprint comes from these cables here, FB0740 and FB896. All ship's power comes from these circuit breakers in the engine rooms. The cables get their power from the nearest switchboard, and these cables are powered from engine room 4. 0740 runs outside the armor through wireways. It's run up through the ship and enters second deck where it makes its way overhead back to a power panel in chief's quarters. It's ran with very thick THFA 150 cable, which is about 3/0 gauge, capable of handling about 300 amps. This powers all the ventilation systems in the area. Since this was not an air-conditioned space, they would have had massive blowers sucking in outside air to replace the hot air in these living spaces. Have you ever been on an un-air-conditioned battleship museum in the summer? Did you find that the old vent sets made it comfortable enough to walk around in? Let us know in the comment section below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification. The other panel is a real warrior, as it supplies power to two 40mm mounts on the main deck, along with other machinery like the catapults, airplane crane, and some 440-volt receptacles. This is technically a 2-in-1 panel, as there is a wire that goes out to a transformer bank, then another wire to bring it back in at 117 volt. Since this powers a gun circuit, the ship's designers made sure that the wires to this panel were protected. It runs through Broadway, inside the armored citadel, to another power panel with a single 225 amp circuit breaker. This is supplied by the bus of another panel that is directly powered by switchboard number 4, FE0746. But what if something happens to switchboard 4? Well, they thought of that too. There is a manual transfer switch supplying power to panel 2-211-2. This allows it to pull power from the after emergency board. Notice how this was completely redone in the 60s. And of course, if both of these sources fail, you can still aim and fire the 40mm guns manually. So how much wire are we really talking here? Well, they give us the cable quantities for the aft section of second deck. The Bureau of Ships was constantly making changes to the wiring, so it varies by ship. But for Iowa itself, we have a total of 10,510 feet. That's nearly 2 miles of cable just for this blueprint alone. If you want to see anything on this deck, you will need lights, and on a battleship, the lighting system is completely separate from the power system. Now I will say that they don't use the ship service lighting circuits exclusively for lighting. Sometimes you'll see things like outlets, refrigerators, fans, coffee grinders, and other appliances connected to the lighting circuit. Normally, the lights for this section of the ship are powered by engine room number 4, but in emergency, they can be switched to engine room number 3. Engine room circuit breakers power these lighting panels. Lighting panels are practically identical to power panels. One cable, FB712, from the 450 volt lighting panel in engine room 4, makes its way up to second deck along with FB402 from engine room 3. Both wires terminate at a manual transfer switch which supplies a 450 to 117 volt transformer bank. This distribution panel supplies 6 ship service lighting circuits: the cruise galley port side, the cruise mess starboard, the scullery areas, chief petty officers' quarters, gas compartment storerooms, and some miscellaneous appliances. Battleships also have emergency lighting cables, but none of them are on second deck, probably because you can just open up a hatch and let the sunlight in. The third type of cabling, and probably the most abundant, is for interior communication and fire control. Anytime you have a sound-powered phone, there is a network of cabling connecting stations together, plus the corresponding call bell system. Anytime you have a mount or a turret, there are always cables to remotely control and fire them. Similar cables are ran to the directors. And don't forget, we need cables for the 1MC general announcing system. The fourth type of cabling is for the ship service telephone system. There are over 200 regular telephones on an Iowa-class battleship, and they all need wires into the exchange. The fifth one is radio, and these can include power and also the antenna cables. The sixth type of cable that an Iowa-class battleship needed was for searchlights. These were high amperage, 120 volt direct current cables coming from the DC switchboards of engine rooms 1 and 4. The seventh type of cable is classified as battery charging. There are over 95 batteries on the ship that are required to be recharged periodically. The eighth type of cable has to do with the ship's permanently installed arc welding sets. There are a number of arc welding motor generator sets that generate low voltage, high amperage direct current that power these arc welding outlets you'll see throughout the ship. The ninth type of cables are the degaussing cables. These cables don't supply any systems, but they're placed around the decks in order to form large electromagnets that repel mines. The 10th classification of wiring was something new in World War II, and that was radar. They kept all the radar wiring plans separate to keep them from falling into enemy hands. And I think they did a pretty good job because even to this day, I still can't find any. In lieu of donations to me, please consider donating to a battleship museum like the Battleship Missouri. There's a link in the description that'll bring you to the USS Missouri Memorial Association website where you can donate to the nonprofit organization. Thanks for watching.